Hi, I'm Ryan with Lingco. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create an activity. So first, we'll click Library on the left sidebar from our course dashboard. And then we'll click on this Create New button and click Activity. Now, you have the option to name your activity, so I'll just name it that for now. And then you also have the option to do some settings on your activity. You can put it into a folder if you have a folder. You can add tags to it, so I could, put reading comprehension and then press enter. And then you can add a description to your activity. And this activity students. Then you have a couple activity options below here, and you can simply turn them on or off by clicking the switch. So you can show the question list, you can show points possible, you can choose to show one question at a time, you can choose to disable copy and paste, and you can choose to disable spell check. And then once you're done with that, all you have to do is just click out of it and you're ready to go. Now the first thing you need to do to begin creating your activity is you need to add a question section. Once you add a question section, you can then add content and prompts to this. So we can title the question. I'll just put the number 1 for now. And the content is what instructors give their students, is the information they give their students. And you can use any and all of these. You can mix and match them. So you could say, I'm going to drag and drop the text content and say, please watch the video and answer the questions. And then I can drag and drop video content, or I can double click or drag and drop works. And then all you have to do is paste a YouTube URL into here, and your students will be able to watch that video. And then you can even add some audio content and say, please answer the questions after watching the video. And as you can see, that this saved. Please answer the questions after watching the video. Great. So now all of these prompt types below here are how the students will respond to the information you gave them. So as you can see, we have a lot of different options, and you can mix and match these as well. So I could put a fill in the blanks prompt here. I could put an ordering prompt underneath it. I could put a grouping prompt or double click, and then you can see the grouping prompt pops up there as well. And then what you can do is start adding content to each one of these. Obviously, I'm putting mine in English right now. Yours will be in the target language, but just to give you an example, what you can do is after you've implemented the information into your fill in the blanks question, you can click the word you want to mark as blank and then simply click mark as blank. And you can do this for all of them. You can customize this to however you like. I'll number it. Obviously, just let them know they need to answer this. Okay, great. Now, once you're done customizing your fill in the blanks, you can also add an image. You can add a table. And then if you add a table, you can also insert images in the first 2 columns, and then obviously put fill in the blanks underneath them if you want to have them match the words to the specific images. Just want to throw that out there. And then once you see what you see over here is this prompt options icon, and you can click these, and for a number of these prompts on the left side, they will have certain prompt options that you can customize to your liking. So for scoring, you can have case insensitive, or regular expression. I'll do case insensitive. For blank sizing, you can also customize that, and then you can also choose whether or not you want to make this draggable. I'm going to make it draggable, and then I'm also going to show the unique words in the word bank so my students can see that. Now, this ordering prompt is good for putting something into the correct sequence. So I could say, put the days of the week in order starting with Monday. And again, obviously I'm going to do it in English. You guys will do it in the target language. And we can add another option, Thursday, and so on and so forth. I'll just do this for now. And once you have this set up the way you like, when your students go in and try this activity, these will obviously be shuffled. They're not going to be in the correct order, but you do implement these in the correct order. So as you can see, 1 is Monday, 2 is Tuesday, 3 is Wednesday. So they're in the correct sequence when I put them in. There's no prompt options for the ordering prompt, but just so you know, it's always a good idea to check that to see if you want to customize it in any way. Grouping can be good, obviously, for putting things into the correct groups. It could be fruits, vegetables. It could be even numbers, odd numbers. It could be true or false, and you could have statements on the side. And then just to add items in the group, you can just click this Add Item button. And so for even numbers, I'll obviously put 2, and then 4. Odd, I'll do 1 and 3. Now, another big prompt type that you can use that a lot of instructors really like to use is the spoken response prompt. And this is where you can have your students record themselves, and this Google Voice will let them know if they answered it correctly or not, and you just implement the accepted responses below. So if I said, what is the image below? And I'm not going to implement an image right now, but let's just say it's basketball. So we know in this video at least. And so if my target language is Spanish, I could do baloncesto as a correct answer. I could also add another accepted response and say el baloncesto or un baloncesto. And then basketball is also another form or another way to say basketball in Spanish, but let's just say I have these 3 right now. Now notice I just have the term without an article, and then I have el baloncesto and un baloncesto. So this means that if a student just said baloncesto, they'd get it correct. If they said the basketball, they'd get it correct in Spanish, or a basketball in Spanish, they'd get it correct. So you want to make sure if you're using this spoken response prompt that you really implement all variations of the accepted response that you will have your students say to get this correct. And obviously this is best for short words and phrases. You're not going to have students, pronouncing an entire sentence or paragraph with a spoken response prompt. For that, you would use an audio recording prompt, and your students would just record their responses with an audio recording, and that would be manually graded. So now once you're happy with the way your activity is set up, all you do is click Create Activity, and you'll be able to now see everything in here. Now I don't have the video up here because I never put a YouTube URL in there, so yours would have one in there, but you can see this fill in the blank prompt that I made draggable. I can now drag and drop these into the correct areas, or what I can do is I can also click on the drop down menu for each one and click them that way as well. Now you can see when I have put the days of the week in ordering prompt, it did shuffle the choices, which is great. So students will put them in the correct order, and then once they're done, they'll click submit. Once they're done with this entire activity, they'll click submit, And then here is the grouping prompt where they put the correct choices into the correct groups. So I'll just do that. And then the spoken response prompt is where they will speak their response. So I can say, what's the image below? It's a basketball. Baloncesto. And you can see I got it correct. So it automatically grades them on the spot when you use a spoken response prompt. And that's it. You now know how to create an activity.